Look at these beauties. Golden Brussels sprouts, charred fennel, creamy sweet potato, glistening carrots, crisp, luscious broccoli. I made all of them using the same simple technique, and you will too. It's called Veggies in Fat, and I'm showing you how to do it and why it works so well. Hey, I'm Seth. I'm here to make cooking simple and fun. In this series, we're going through these 7 key techniques to cook anything. Today, we're tackling veggies in fat. Here's how you do it. Check out this big list of vegetables. Some of them are great raw as fun snacks or as a fresh addition to your dishes. Some of them definitely need to be cooked before you can enjoy eating them. But pretty much across the board, cooking veggies in fat brings out their depth, their warmth, and their sweetness. And for that, we need 4 elements: fat, salt, heat, and time. Fat's tasty, but it's crucial because of how it helps veggies cook. Fat's great at soaking up and then distributing heat. Cooking food directly on a hot surface without fat is like stepping barefoot on hot concrete. The parts that are touching the surface burn, but the rest is going to stay cold. So you end up with food that's both overdone and underdone. Not my idea of a good time. But in comes fat. It physically fills in those little nooks and crannies in veggies, helping heat evenly get into all the dimples and folds that make up gorgeously naturally shaped food. The fat takes the heat from whatever source you're cooking with and brings it in, gently and evenly. So why not just use water instead? Yeah, it'll also fill in the gaps and move heat around, but water can only get to 212 degrees Fahrenheit before it floats away as steam. Fat can get even hotter, and veggies need those higher temperatures to develop the beautiful golden color and the delicious flavors that come along with it. Plus, water has this habit of stealing delicious flavor from the food that it's cooking. Great if you're making stock. The point is to make delicious water. Less fun if you're trying to make the most delicious carrot possible. I can't think of a single veggie that isn't made better with at least a little salt to bring out its natural flavor. Yeah, too much salt is salty, but in smaller quantities, it makes food taste more like itself. I like adding salt after fat so that the fat helps it stick all over. So we got fat and salt on the veggies, now we heat them up. First, let's talk heat levels. Aggressive high heat means that you can deeply cook one part of the veggie while keeping the rest less done. Or lower the heat for a more even cook. One isn't better than the other. I love a fully roasted, deeply flavored veggie, but something with one side charred and the other less cooked gives you this awesome contrast of flavors and textures that we'll explore in a little bit. The higher the temp, the quicker it'll cook, meaning the less time you'll probably keep it on the heat. And what about heat sources? In most homes, the choice is between the oven and the stovetop. The main temperature difference is the air around the food. In ovens, that air is hot. And on the stove, that air is basically room temperature. So the oven's better for a more even roast, while a pan is great if you want to get one side more cooked than the other. But I'm often making my decision based on something way more practical. I use the oven when I have a lot of veggies to cook because I can spread them out on a few sheet pans and throw them in all at once. And I use a stovetop when I'm making less, and I can keep my eye on it more easily. Here's my personal recommendations for cooking vessels. In the oven, I go for sheet pans. Glass roasting trays have these high sides that end up steaming veggies more than roasting them, and the metal is better at transferring heat. On the stovetop, I use stainless steel. I'm not a big fan of nonstick for veggies and fat for a few reasons. They don't really stick, especially if you're using any amount of fat, and I find stainless steel way easier to use and clean. You can scrape away with metal utensils and give it a really good scrub in the sink. Same goes for stainless steel over cast iron. People swear by it and love it, but for me, nothing beats the easy maintenance of stainless steel. You always have the option of covering your veggies so heat gets trapped. That's a good way to create a steamy, hot air bath that breaks down your veggies faster. If you're new to veggies and fat, I recommend keeping that lid off so you can get more aggressive flavor on your veggies, pushing the boundaries of color and char. We got tons of choices when it comes to fat. Some popular ones are butter, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and animal fats like beef tallow. There are 2 things I consider: how hot it can get before it burns, called the smoke point, and what it tastes like. In that order, because first you want to make sure that the fat you're using doesn't burn. That doesn't taste good. Then it's a matter of deciding if you want some flavorful fat adding its own spin on your dish, or you just want the veggie flavor to shine through. Up to you. And remember, you can always finish veggies with fat at the end to add flavor, separate from whatever fat you use to cook them. Here I made sweet potatoes in high smoke point coconut oil, then tossed them in a little low smoke point butter afterwards because it tastes great. The butter did not have to be there the whole time. So how much fat do you use? There's a huge range that'll give you something delicious, so don't sweat it and don't worry about measuring things exactly. If you go so heavy on the oil that your veggies are swimming in it, it starts to feel more like you're deep frying, which is fine, but unnecessary for a good roast. If there's still a ton of oil left over when you're done, try using less next time. And using minimal fat can work, but it's cooking in hard mode, because that fat is a buffer against scorching and uneven cooking. With less of it, you'll have to be attentive, stirring and watching to make sure your veggies don't burn, and it's harder to hit that flavor sweet spot. Okay, so now we're cooking. What do you have to do? First off, occasionally flip or stir if that's what you want. Whichever part of your food is closest to the heat source will cook quicker. That's the part touching the sheet pan in the oven or the pan on the stove. If you cook under a broiler, that's the top of your food. So the path to an even cook is changing which part faces the heat. Stir a lot for something super even, or not at all if you want a big differential in doneness. I like using this type of fish spatula because I can really scrape against the metal, pulling up any flavorful brown bits that might stick to the pan and rip off otherwise. So when our veggies done, most veggies go through 5 phases as they cook: raw, soft, golden, charred, and burned. You probably don't want it raw or burned, but there's a ton of flexibility in between, especially with that fat keeping things cooking evenly. If you're new to this, try pushing veggies further than you're used to. All that color adds delicious flavor. You'll be shocked at how amazing your veggies turn out when you let them get golden to charred. Now that you know the basics, here are those veggies from the beginning of the video again. And here's all the decisions I made along the way. Golden Brussels sprouts. I toss these Brussels sprouts in olive oil because that's a flavor combination that I love. Then spread them on a sheet pan in the oven because the bits that touch the metal turn this gorgeous golden color, and the oven heat helps soften the rest. Charred fennel. I coated these in vegetable oil because it can get super hot, then put them in the oven under a high broiler to give it a really aggressive heat that gets these bits charred. Creamy sweet potatoes. I coated these in coconut oil. Sweet potatoes take a little while to cook, so I wanted oil that could stand up to all that heat, and it adds a fun, comforting coconutty flavor. Glistening carrots. I cooked these in a pan on the stovetop in olive oil. I love getting this golden color on them while they soften up on the inside. I added a little beef tallow at the end to coat them in some delicious, strong fat flavors. Crisp, luscious broccoli. I cooked these in a pan on the stovetop in vegetable oil so I could crank up the heat and get one side aggressively cooked. I didn't stir while cooking to create this effect. Then I drizzled them with olive oil at the end. These veggies and fat are amazing as is, but you can easily spice things up with some simple additions. Toss the cooked Brussels sprouts with some balsamic vinegar. Give the fennel a quick squeeze of lemon. Drizzle the sweet potatoes in some tahini. Add some fresh herbs to the carrots as they finish. Throw some crushed garlic in with the broccoli just as they finish up. Veggies and fat might be the most versatile technique in the kitchen. Beginners often think that they have to build flavors from scratch, but so much of cooking is spotlighting the existing flavors in the ingredients we are so lucky to eat. Here are these incredible vegetables just waiting for you to coat them in some fat, sprinkle on a little salt, heat them up, and enjoy all the flavors, textures, and nutrients that they have to offer. Get comfortable with veggies and fat, and you are well on your way to throwing together exciting meals with ease.